Hello friends, it's Thursday. How are you all doing? Today we're starting book 4 of the Psalms. We are moving right along and I'm going to talk to you about Psalm 90. And Psalm 90, it's kind of a downer of a psalm because the psalmist is kind of wrestling and struggling with God and really wanting God to step in and help, and is struggling because it seems like to the psalmist that just God is just not helping in the way that the psalmist would like God to help. And you know, I often talk about how in my past that I became very angry with God and walked away from the church and had no relationship with God, and that's true. And the reason that happened is that I didn't have a firm foundation in my relationship with God. And so a couple bad things happened and they kind of swept me off my feet, and I felt like God didn't help me out, or Jesus didn't help me out at all, and so I walked away from the church. One of the bad things was a church related thing, and I walked away from the church and walked away from God. And then when I came back to the church, that relationship was healed. And this is a whole longer story about grace, but I really went all in with Jesus and became much stronger in my faith, and it's a lot harder to knock me down now. And so a lot of times when I look back, or I'll tell that story about that something knocked me down, and I hardly ever tell people what knocked me down, because people will come up and ask me, especially people who personally know me. They'll say, well, what was the thing that made you walk away from Jesus? And I'm kind of embarrassed because it really wasn't anything that was super bad at all. It was actually like on the scale of like 1 to 10 of things that are difficult and bad. It's probably like a 4. But my faith was very weak, or my relationship with Jesus was really weak, so at that time it seemed like a catastrophe. And since then, in the last 5 years of my life, I've had like much worse things happen to me. I've told the story of my father before, and just other things that have happened in my life that have been very difficult, things that before would have completely crushed me. But I've been able to navigate those things and have been able to lean in on my relationship with Jesus. But it doesn't mean that they've been easy. And I have cried out and I have cried a lot, and thought, geez, kind of like the psalmist, take pity on me. How long, Lord, is this going to happen? I would just like to be satisfied each morning with just your love and not have to go through this anymore. Just give me gladness in proportion to the misery that I have now. And so I understand this psalm. But you don't get to the point of being able to stand through the storm unless you've developed the relationship. And so I really encourage you to, before the storm comes, to work at developing that firm foundation. So when the storm comes, or when the earthquake comes, that you're able to stand firm even when you're waiting, and when the world is trying to knock you down. So that's what I have for today. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful Thursday. Bye-bye.